Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Action Force Q-Force Aqua Trooper, released back in 1983 as part of Palitoy's line of smaller Action Man figures. Now this is a great example of reusing an existing mould and making a new figure, and in fact a new sort of line of toys out of stuff that they already had. And this is something that Palitoy were really great at doing. They'd make a few figures, bit of a rearrange, a couple of new accessories, and you get a whole new figure. And that's exactly what the Aqua Trooper is, because they just took the basic Frogman that they'd already produced and gave it a new paint job and some new accessories, and it turned into this wonderful looking figure, the Q-Force Aqua Trooper. Now if we take a look at the bare figure, you can see that it basically is just a Frogman. They've cast it in a few nice bits of bright plastic, so we've got yellow for the body and the legs, and then we've got blue for the arms and the head, and then added a few little bits of detailing on the front, and it really makes it stand out. It's quite a distinct looking figure, and with the addition of a few extra sort of more space age looking accessories, they formed the Aqua Trooper. So this is what the figure looks like with all the accessories in place. You can see he's got some little blue flippers on the bottom, and they've made this quite sort of futuristic looking scuba tank with a little mask on the front of it, and this can easily be removed, so you can just show his face. So that is the face of the trooper underneath, but you just slide that back on, and it's just quite a sort of interesting looking figure. So when he's swimming, he's got quite a sort of streamlined looking sort of shape to him, and he should fly through the water. Following on from the high quality and high detail items that Palitoy produced for the Action Man line, they also did the same for this Action Force line. You can see even on these tiny little flippers there's a massive amount of detail going on, and they really do look like sort of life-size flippers, but just in miniature. Likewise with the backpack, it really does have a nice amount of detailing on it, and the fact it all just sort of clips together. It's made out of one single piece of plastic, yet it all sort of folds over and the little visor clips on the back there. It really just is a lovely designed little element. I think that's what Palitoy did best, was taking things and really sort of over-engineering them and making them look as good as they possibly could, even in this small scale. I have a carded example of this figure in my collection. As you can see, all Action Force cards are fairly plain. They don't really give you a great deal of detail. It gives you the name of the character. It also shows you the emblem of the force that they are part of, because this figure is obviously from Q-Force, so they put that on the front. And then there's just a little badge there on the front that says look out for the exciting Action Force comic that's on sale. It's only when we turn it over that we get a little bit of information about the figure itself. You see at the top shows you the full collection of figures that you can collect, and there he is sitting in the middle with the Stingray, which I'll show you in a minute. And at the bottom it gives you the information about this character, and here it says this is the Q-Force Aqua Trooper. His personal name is Jean-Paul Reeves, but his code name is Shark, and his primary military speciality is torpedo technology, with the secondary speciality of underwater demolition. He is a swimmer of undoubted ability, spent early years in Martinique and was involved in several complex treasure hunts for Spanish galleons. Basic military training at French Naval School, Brest, France, top of class in torpedo training, torpedo officer French Navy, joined Action Force, took underwater demolition course, Sword of Honour. Shark is a high quality fighter, does act on his own initiative, dislikes obeying orders. So give you a little bit of information there. I actually think that's quite nice. Without any sort of images, it gives you quite a detailed background to the figure and an idea of what he should be like and what his character's like. Then there's some other info as well about joining the Action Force team, and you can collect these little badges or medallions there to send off for a free figure. Do you know what? I wish I'd done that back in the day, because I had quite a few of these carded, but I don't think I ever sent off for it. So I wonder if that PO box is still working, because I should collect up these little medallions and send it off, because I could do with that figure in my collection. As well as being able to get the Q-Force Aqua Trooper on its own on the card, it was later released along with this, which is the Stingray vehicle. Now this came both on card and box version, so there are two types if you want to collect all of them. It's a fairly simple little vehicle made out of a couple of bits of plastic squidged together, but the Aqua Trooper can sit in it in a couple of ways. So you can see there I've got him sitting sort of sitting upright. If we take that one out, I've got another one ready. You can slot him in and he can ride it sort of face down, and if you look through the bottom you can see his face there poking out, so it's more of a sort of a streamlined vehicle like that. Comes with two detachable torpedo missiles on the bottom, so we can remove those. There's no firing mechanism or anything like that, they're just sort of detachable missiles. It does have a few little stickers over it as well, so on the bottom you can see this is the Q-Force logo. It's got a little sticker in the middle that says torpedo storage with priming control, with a fine little bit of detail in the middle, the Action Force logo, and on the front again you've just got a little sort of, I'm going to call it a windscreen, but I'm not quite sure what it is, and some more Q-force detailing. You'll see the number Q4 in there. That's because the other vehicles had different numbers to it, so this is just the number of the vehicle. But it's quite a nifty little device, and something that I would have certainly wanted to play with out in the rivers and stuff like that when I was a child, but just looks like a nice streamlined little exciting vehicle. Now, I think the reason I like this figure so much is because it reminds me of probably my favourite figure of all time, which is the FisherPrice Frogmen. I had this as a child and just played with it over and over again, and it was just I don't know why really, but it's one of my favourite figures. It got played with in the bath an awful lot, and certainly this figure is designed to be played with in the water, and I think most children of the time would have certainly taken this in the bath or sort of played with it in rivers and streams, just because everything about it screams I've got to be put in the water. And because of the nature and the way that these are made, it really wouldn't matter. You could quite happily dunk these in the water and they would survive really quite well. There's nothing on them that's going to break. The only thing you're likely to lose over time would be the little flippers, because they are particularly small, but they do in general hold on to the feet remarkably well. In fact, I even found one of these in a sort of rummage box recently, all complete. All the accessories were still attached to it, and I paid a grand total of 99p for it, so you can still find them remarkably easily and remarkably cheaply. Palitoy's ability to reuse bits of figures and to make new characters is pretty legendary. So this was one that they based on the original Frogman, which came in orange, but essentially the same toy was released as the SAS diver. You can see it's the same figure, they've just changed the backpack on it, made him in black plastic, and sort of there you go, different figure. And then bits of this figure were used on other ones as well across the line. I've got a couple of examples here. This is the Q4 sonar officer, and you can see that the head of that figure is the same as this Aqua Trooper. I've got another one here which is the space pilot. Again, you can see that the head of that figure has been reused. It's just something that Palitoy did to keep costs down and enable them to produce a lot of figures with a sort of a minimal amount of construction and parts needed. So it's always clever thing to do, and I think they did it particularly well with these kinds of figures.
toy-polloi.
If you'd like to know more about the Action Force toy line, then check out Fusion Magazine issue number 10, as I've written an article all about the toys and their history. The magazine is packed full of articles on retro games, retro consoles and modern games, and is available as both a digital download and also a physical magazine. To find out more, check out fusiongamemag.com. I'll put links in the description so you can find out where to get it from. Currently the Action Force line is having a bit of a resurgence with collectors, so prices are going up a little bit, but on the whole loose figures are very easy to find. In fact, I've never sort of actively collected them. They just seem to appear in sort of job lots that I buy. Every once in a while I find one particularly cheap, as I say, and I did pick up this one here for 99p quite recently. If you want to go for the carded stuff, it's still fairly cheap. You can get really quite nice carded figures for around the £20 mark, and even beaten up cards like the ones I have here in my collection don't cost much. I think none of these cost much more than sort of £10 each. And the Stingray, again, is fairly straightforward to find. The bit that is always missing on this is obviously the little torpedoes underneath, so make sure that those are with it. But even a sort of complete one of these won't set you back much more than sort of £10 or £15, and carded up to sort of £30, I'd say. So it's a very affordable line to collect, and they just really look nice. It's certainly one that I'm hoping to get a few more of. I've mainly been collecting Red Shadows in the past, but I'm starting to pick up more and more figures from the line just because they really are very nice, and I remember having them as a child. So it's just a new collection that is happening here at toy-polloi. So I hope this video has been of interest to you. If you've enjoyed it, then make sure and tap the subscribe button, and also tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And thanks for watching.
Parental guidance. This video contains scenes of Lego destruction.
When it comes to filming reviews like this, because I tend to buy the sort of the dregs and the broken stuff of all toys, there's a little bit of work that will need to be done before I can get these in a sort of fit state to review them. And this Aqua Trooper and Stingray was no different to any other sort of video that I film. In fact, I'd picked these up fairly recently off eBay. The Aqua Trooper carded version needed a bit of cleaning, and that didn't take too long because that's just using some lighter fluid to remove sort of old dirt and residue. The crushed bubble I can live with, but the card itself was pretty dirty. But the Stingray Stingray that I picked up did need a fair amount of work. Now, originally when this arrived here, some of the stickers had been placed in the wrong position, so I used my sort of favourite technique for doing that, and that is to soak the stickers in a lot of lighter fluid, and this tends to soften the glue underneath, and then with a scalpel you can carefully remove the sticker and replace it where it should have been placed originally. And because the lighter fluid sort of slowly evaporates over time, the sticker will then just sort of glue back down of its own accord. If it doesn't, then you can use a bit of Pritt stick to do that, but as you can see on this one, it stuck back down very neatly. And I did also move this sticker as well, which was also put in the wrong position, but fairly simple thing to do, but it was worth doing because it makes the Stingray look pretty nice. And also with this Stingray, one of the missiles was missing when I picked it up, but I just happened to have that missile in a sort of spares bag of pieces, but the little tab had broken off. So again, using some Lego, which is my favourite sort of things to use for fixing toys, I found a yellow roll bar, which the colour matched really nicely, although the size and shape of it wasn't particularly good. So with a little bit of modification and some filing, and then drilling a hole to fit it into the broken torpedo that I had, I was able to recreate the little peg very nicely, and you can see that's the one that I've recreated here. It works really well. It fits in the bottom of the Stingray. It fits very nicely. So rather than having to hunt down another replacement torpedo, I was able to use one that I had, and using sort of techniques that I've shown over and over again, I was able to fix it and get this vehicle ready for reviewing. So I just thought I'd show you a little sort of behind the scenes stage there of how I get things ready for filming. And with all toys, because I buy the broken ones, everything needs a little sort of bit of repair before it gets filmed and reviewed. And this Stingray and Aqua Trooper was sort of no different to anything else that I film here. Just a little bit of work and it will look as good as it can do and perfect for display.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
As well as being able to get the figure on the card just on its own, it was later released with the Stingray.